Hey boat friends, good evening. It's around 6 o'clock Central Time here in Duluth, Minnesota. I got a real treat for you tonight. I'm sure a few of you have been watching. We have the Mark W. Barker. She is going outbound to the lake right now. You're going to see her. We're going to go down by the wall here in the canal and take a look at her. We also have simultaneously the James R. Barker. She's going to be coming inbound through the canal. So this is going to be a fun one. Current conditions, so we know what's going on here in the canal. And for the captains, we have 8 degrees Fahrenheit, and it is with the wind chill factored in, -2 right now. So pretty cold. I'm really bundled up. I'm all ready for this. Take a look. We have that amber light, the smaller amber light right there in the middle of the screen. Again, there shouldn't be any issue for the captain for either vessel coming inbound or outbound. That represents, again, the current in the canal, the water current. So that means it's less than 1 mile per hour inbound or outbound. Fully raised bridge. Give you a quick look here at the wind. Then we'll get down right by the canal and we'll take a look at these ships. Show you the flag. See, not too bad of a situation for wind. I think it was around 9-mile gusts the last that I saw. Here's the Duluth, Minnesota skyline. And this will be a fun one because both of these vessels are owned by the same company. So this is what you would call two boats that are on the same mission essentially. Here you have CN Dock is where the Mark W. Barker departed from with iron ore, and then you have the James R. Barker. She's coming inbound, going to the same dock for iron ore as well. These would be called fleet mates. Well, let's take a look. Sorry I got here a little late. The reason why is because it's very cold right now, and I did not want to have an issue with the camera that I'm using. When it gets cold, I didn't want to have a situation where it died in the middle of recording both vessels. So hopefully we'll be able to get both vessels in the same video. So there you can see the powerful spotlight on the Mark W. Barker as she's making that turn in the bay, gonna straighten out to come outbound here in the canal. Some facts about the Mark W. Barker, built in 2022. So this is a new vessel. She was launched in July and actually christened in Cleveland, Ohio on September 1st of this year. 639 feet in length. Again, she is departing from the CN dock, fully loaded with iron ore. And if you look over there to the right of the Barker, you can see a tug that's been assisting on the right side there. That is the Missouri. She has been helping with chopping some of that ice out of there for her to depart from CN and to go out towards the lake here. And again, being that she's a newer ship, she is the first ship on the Great Lakes to be powered with engines that meet EPA Tier 4 standards. So this is, from an efficiency standpoint and sustainability, one of the newer vessels that really was built with that purpose in mind. So you can see she is going to be going outbound. Now here's the shipping canal. We don't have any ice today. Definitely will be ice later this week with the temperatures the way they are. 245 feet in length from right here where we are to the other side. Seems like a lot of distance, but when you have a large ship like this, it definitely tightens up pretty quick. So you see that spotlight on, looking pretty good, pretty powerful. And take a look at this design as you see the Mark W go outbound. This is the new design of these ships on the Great Lakes, and you can see this structure there on the bow that I'll zoom in as she gets a little closer. And then also take a look at the superstructure on the stern, on the back of the vessel there. That is where the cabins are, the galley. That's where everything happens at the very top. That's the pilot house. That's where the captain and the people navigating this canal, they're checking things out. But take a look how powerful that spotlight is. And you can see the Missouri right there on the back side going behind the stern. Well, let's take a look at her as she goes outbound. Hopefully we get a whistle exchange. So we got that exchange. Everybody always comes down looking forward to that. Now, this ship is owned and operated by the Interlake Steamship Company. The Mark W. Barker, that's the name. This is named after the president of the company. So that's the president of the Interlake Steamship Company, named after him. And you have the James R. Barker that is going to be coming in just in a few minutes, and we're going to keep this live stream going to be able to capture her coming in. Give you a good look at her cutting through the water. Now look right there on the bow, you see that structure? I mean, that is the new design here for self-unloading and loading. Well, let's take a good look at that superstructure on the back. And take a look at the very back here. You're able to see that is a quick release capsule right there in the orange. If you go online, you can see this on YouTube. They'll actually go in there. In a worst case scenario, the crew will jump in that. And there's a lever. Once you're in there, it'll quick release and essentially fall right off the back there and go right into the water. Completely sealed capsule, but it's very fascinating. Chuck was the one that pointed that out to me. But take a look at how bright these lights are. Again, this is built in 2022, so it really has some of the new LED lights that I think all of us are accustomed to now in our homes. But take a look at how that lights up the sky. It's sitting very low, filled with iron ore pellets. But again, take a look at that quick release capsule on the very back. Great looking vessel. Again, that's the new look here for the Great Lakes. .639 feet in length, and as always, we wish the captain and the crew a safe voyage out. Now, stick with me. I'm not going to be ending this. We have another star of the show, which I think a lot of people actually came down to see, is the James R. Barker, which a lot of people know the James R. Barker from the bark, they call it, with the whistle, the horn that she lets loose as she comes through the canal, extremely loud. So in the meantime, we're going to take a look at the Barker come in, but I'm going to walk you around. We're going to take a look at what's going on right here in the immediate area. I'll go show you a little bit of the lake. We'll take a look at the skyline, so just hang in there. It's a Sunday. I'm out here. It's 2 below zero, so you just hang in there and let's have some fun and enjoy these vessels right now. So let's take a look what's going on. If you look right here, it has been snowing the last few days here in Duluth, but this is all packed down now. So as you're walking around, this is pretty slippery stuff, so you've got to really take your time. Make sure you have some good grip on the boots that you have. And thank you everybody for joining. We're going to be watching a second really cool ship that's going to be coming through. The James R. Barker is going to be the next one. Again, these are fleet mates. Both ships are owned by the same company. As you can see, the gates, they're closed. But let's look out in Lake Superior here. Here you got the city of Duluth in the background. That's the lights that you see. Pretty calm conditions for the time being. It's going to get very cold here in the city of Duluth and even the rest of Minnesota the next few days. Check this out. This guy got this. Take a look at that. Those lights on the tires there. That's how you do it in Minnesota, right? Beautiful skyline. Up on the hill earlier this week, 20 to 30 plus inches they received. So, you know, I don't know how many shovels you'd have to buy to be able to address that. Communication towers there on the hill. I think a lot of people that have been in Canal Park before, you recognize this area. There's the aerial lift bridge. And so what's happening now is that there was a big buildup of vehicles on both sides of the bridge. You have Park Point, which is over here on the left side. I've talked about that a few times. That used to be a point, but truly now it's an island, because the only way you can get onto that side is to go over the lift bridge. And there was a big buildup of cars on that side, as well as the Canal Park side right over here. And what the bridge operator is doing is they have lowered the bridge to allow these vehicles to pass. The terminology here in Duluth is called being bridged. So if you're that unlucky person that you're driving along and you're trying to get across that bridge, all of a sudden you see these gates come down and the red light comes on, and you're sitting there at the mercy of that ship that's going to be either going out or in, and sometimes it could sit for an hour. So a lot of the locals are pretty savvy now, where we take a look at the actual the GPS and some of these apps online, where you're able to see the ships where they're at in proximity to the bridge, so that doesn't happen to you. And I think if anybody was watching the harbor cams like I was here a little earlier, we saw the Missouri. She was in, okay, there you go. So you take a look on that right side, you can see the superstructure that we just saw go out, which is the Mark W. Barker. And on the left side, to the left of that lighthouse, that's going to be the James R. Barker. So hang in there. We're going to really hear a loud whistle exchange with the bridge. This is, I think, when it comes to the loudest horn on the Great Lakes, there's no doubt about it. I think she's ranked #1, and that's the fun of it. I think everybody loves seeing her come through, just because we could hear that loud whistle. But let me walk you over here for a moment. I'm going to throw this glove on that I have, because you know, as I work this camera and this gimbal. So a gimbal, if nobody's familiar with that, that is a device that it holds this camera. There's a gyroscope in it, so as I walk right now, it's not going to give you all that bouncing and the vibration, so it should give you a stabler shot. Let's walk over. I'm going to walk you to the right here. We're going to walk up to the lake walk right here on the right. This was finished here in the last couple years. It's a really fun place to be here in Duluth. I mean, even though that most people come here in the summer and it's, you know, good weather, I'm going to tell you, even if it's 2 below zero, I mean, think about this. I'm out here, I'm bundled up. You come dressed for the conditions. I'm out here, I'm going to look at 2 ships. We're both going to look at 2 ships together. And we're going to have some fun. And it's so... I mean, it's so fun for me to see how many people are just as interested in these ships and this Duluth area and the lift bridge as I am. I mean, when you go out here and do this, it's just, to me, and I've said it probably 20 times by now, but I would be down here without this camera doing the exact same thing. I really enjoy the ships. I just enjoy the whole environment, and it's just fun to be down here. So that's what I'll be doing. So when you jump on my live streams, I'm just gonna get some information for you about the ships that will be coming in, and we'll learn together. By no means am I an expert when it comes to maritime or the ships. I'm just a person that loves being around this area and loves the ships like a lot of people do. So we'll just have some fun together. Now you can see the bridge is going up to the full height. In the middle of the bridge, bear with me, I'm just going to take my glove off so I can zoom in. In the middle of the bridge, you see a red light right there in the middle of the screen. right below the bridge operators, little house right there. When the bridge gets all the way up, that's going to turn green. And so what that is doing is it's letting the captain know on the vessel that's coming inbound, the James R. Barker, that the bridge is at full height. So it's just a visual reference for the captain to know when that bridge is all the way up. And let's take a look again at the water current in the canal. That yellow light right there in the middle. Again, that signifies that there's less than 1 mile per hour inbound, outbound current. So it should be smooth sailing for the captain coming in. Take a look at the flag, see if conditions have changed from a wind standpoint. Doesn't look like it. Pretty light, probably light breeze, nothing too crazy. Sunday night around 6 o'clock. Quite a few cars are still here. I think a lot of people jump back in the car to warm up a little bit before they come out and see the JRB. But the lake walk, if you've never been in Duluth, Minnesota, this lake walk goes all the way down, and it hugs the lake over here, Lake Superior, all the way around. So a lot of people in the summertime, they're biking, they're running. It's just a really fun family environment, and it's just picturesque and just beautiful as you were taking your run or your walk. So if you ever come here to Duluth, it's definitely something that you want to add into the rotation as far as things that you want to do. Some other familiar spots, you have Canal Park, that's where I'm at right now. You have the famous Grandma's, which is right over there next to the lift bridge. I think a lot of people go there and they have a bite to eat, and they go over and take a look at the ships. And let's just get an update here. We have the Mark W. Barker. You see she went hard to the right side, and looks like we have the James R. Barker. She's coming in. So yeah, we got 100 people that are viewing right now. Want to say hello to everybody. If you're a new viewer, we're here in Duluth, Minnesota. We just watched a ship go outbound through the aerial lift bridge right here, and we have a very popular ship that is going to be coming inbound through the canal in just a few minutes. Getting pretty cold out here tonight. Let me set this down here for just one moment. We'll take a look at the bridge, and I'll give you some facts about the James R. Barker that's going to be coming inbound. Again, really fascinating ship that's coming in. I think a lot of people love her because of how loud that whistle is going to be. James R. Barker. She was built in 1976. She's 1,004 feet in length. So, I mean, just imagine that. 1,004 feet. Essentially, it's like a downtown skyscraper that's going to be laying on its side as she goes through the canal. Owned and operated by the Interlake Steamship Company. And she was built in Lorain, Ohio at American Shipbuilding Company. And she's coming in for iron ore. She is basically taking the place of her fleet mate, the Mark W. Barker. So throw my gloves back on, and she's getting closer. So let's get down by the canal. We'll take a look at this action right now. Let me know if the audio, the video, hopefully everything is still working pretty good for you. You never know, especially in these cold conditions. I don't know about the network connectivity. Sometimes it could be problematic, but you see the snow right here on these large rocks. Excellent. Well, let's get down over there. I'll tell you what I'm wearing right now. I have boots, I have some long socks, I have essentially snowmobile pants that I'm wearing to keep that wind off of me. I have a extremely large puffy jacket, gloves, 2 stocking caps, and I also have a mask that's over my face as well. Looks like someone is trying to maybe roll a snowman right here. Now here's something to consider as well. You see the snow, this definitely is not snowball or the type of snow that you can really roll things up. It was a few days ago, but now that the cold has set in, everything is very hard and compact. So one thing that, you know, if you're not from Minnesota, an area where you have to shovel snow, where it gets really cold, what you try to do, the strategy is you want to get everything shoveled out of your driveway right away, because what happens is everything hardens up. When it gets really cold, it'll harden up, and it's just like trying to shovel concrete that is set. So it's pretty difficult. Sometimes this gimbal has a life of its own, so sorry about that when it jumps around. Well, let's get down here. You know, you actually have quite a few people that are out here. 2 below zero. Keep in mind, I'm really dressed for it. I did see some people earlier today. I saw a person wearing a sweatshirt and some really light sweatpants. So hopefully they only had a short distance to walk. But take a look at this. 2 below zero right now. You have people that are still showing up. And again, that might also be the fanfare of the James R. Barker. Coming in to get to iron ore, CN dock. 1,004 feet in length. Built in 1976. So this vessel's really been on the Great Lakes for quite a while. Has a pretty major following. Check out those tires there. You know, I'll tell you, I saw lights like that years ago when I was in Los Angeles. I was in Marina del Rey, right on the edge of Venice Beach. And, you know, in California, when you go from Venice Beach to Santa Monica Pier, you have a lot of people that have lights on their bikes, their scooters. So it's kind of interesting to see that up here in Minnesota as well. I want to show you that smokestack there in the distance. I think that's looks pretty cool. But people are showing up. You know, you have a 2 below zero. They're still out here to check out the ship. So you grab your hot cocoa, and here she comes. 1,004 feet in length. She's coming in completely empty, so she is going to be sitting right up out of the water. You'll be able to really get a good look at the bow, the stern. I'm going to zoom in, and we'll be able to get that superstructure and pilot house. But again, this is the ship that everybody waits for because of just how loud that whistle exchange is. And if it's not a relief captain, the captain really puts on a show for all the people that are gathered here on the pier, all the spectators, because even the captain knows that this vessel has a following. Yeah, so Chuck, let's take a look on the hill. I know you and I have talked about some of the light pollution here on the Duluth hillside. We don't see that extremely bright light that we've seen a couple times before, but a little bit of glow in the distance, like you mentioned. Well, I'm going to jump down here. I'm going to get right along the wall. And here she is. So let's take a good look. This is going to be a fun one. Want to welcome everybody on the live. 130 people, 135 people in right now. Welcome you. Hopefully it's a little warmer where you're at. 2 below zero with the wind chill here in Duluth, Minnesota. We are awaiting a 1,004-foot ship coming in completely empty to load iron ore pellets at CN dock. So when you take a look at some of the lights that the Barker has. Hey Ralphie, how are you? 70 and sunny at your house, huh? A little warmer that way, huh? But it's still gonna get cold for you. I know that you're down in the St. Paul area, so that's I'll be down in the Twin Cities as well. So it's going to be cold all around Minnesota. So we should be getting that pretty major whistle exchange, and if we're lucky, the captain sometimes gives us 2. So let's see what happens. You can see very calm here in the canal. There's no ice, but I'm pretty excited here in the next week or so to be able to show you the ice build up in the canal. Maybe we'll be able to get Coast Guard vessel going out, or one of the tugs breaking up some ice here in the canal. I think that'll be pretty fun. And it's not too long until we start seeing some of the ice on the bow and stern, and really all over the vessel. So there you go. James R. Barker, star of the show, coming in completely empty. They had a safe voyage in, and she was really circling around waiting for the Mark W. Barker to go outbound to the lake. Again, these are fleet mates that they're part of the same company. As you can see, dual anchors here at the front on the bow. Really smooth and steady coming in. Might be able to hear that humming here. See if we can get a little bit of visual of her cutting through the water there. You know, I gotta tell you, that was kind of a muffled horn. Obviously, it's from the cold, from the JRB. Usually, I think from a decibel standpoint, that'd probably be twice that I've heard in the past. So I know I did a little build up on that horn. If it was summertime, definitely you would hear that. But again, what happens when you have that cold air out on the lake, it really does affect what that horn blast will sound like. But here's the superstructure on the back. You have the pilot house up on the top. You can take a look at that steam that's coming out. Again, I might have mentioned this before, but to the new viewers, you see all of that steam that's coming out on the top. It looks like it could be harmful from an emission standpoint, but they have what is called a scrubber system that is equipped on these vessels, and what that does is the harmful the harmful exhaust that is produced by the engines, they go through a process where it scrubs out the harmful chemicals, and what you're seeing there is after the conversion is done, that's steam. So it's from an environmental standpoint, it's not really doing too much. You can see the radar spinning there at the very top. Again, pretty famous vessel here. I think if it's a list of the top 3, definitely on the top 3, I think, for most people. You got a crew member that's on the deck there waving at people. Now this crew has a very, very busy night ahead. This is completely empty, so she is going to be loading iron ore pellets all night long. Now let's get a good look at the back. That's the stern of a ship. And this is something that I really love doing. As she goes under the lift bridge, I want you to watch with me for a few moments how the captain makes the turn. Every captain does something a little different as far as their turn going into the bay. So you will be able to see very well how that captain addresses the turn. There's a superstructure on the back, really well lit up. Essentially, that's like having almost an apartment building and everything else. You know, you have a galley. I mean, this is where these people live and work for months and months on end. So they're together all the time, and you want to have comfortable quarters as well. So now we're starting to see, well, first of all, take a look at that stack. You can see all that steam coming out. Now let's watch. Now you're going to start seeing the ship that's going to be turning to the left, which is the port side. So take a look at the back part of the ship. The stern is going to start tilting to the right, and you'll see the bow in the front that's going to become visible. That is going to start moving to the left, which is the port side. So you're starting to see that. Again, this is 1,000 feet 1,004 foot ship, and that's no easy feat there, making that move. Look at that steam just pumping out again. 2 below zero right now with the wind chill factored in, Duluth, Minnesota. Impressive turn there, Captain. Well, they made it in safely. Both ships, it's always fun. We call this a double, so you're able to see one going in, one going out. It's always fun, and especially when it's both barkers, you don't get to see that too often. So I'm really glad that all you got to join to watch this. And this coming week, there's going to be a lot of action. It's going to get a lot colder here in Duluth. I will be here. I believe you're going to start seeing some ice forming here in the canal and throughout the bay, so I think that'll make for some fun action. But again, thank you for joining. I hope you have a great rest of the night, and I'll be live here very soon. We'll see some other fun ships, and I really like it during the day, so I can really point things out to you. But night is fun too. We get to see the lights like this, but you know, it was fun. But it's getting a little cold for me right now, so I hope you have a great evening. And to all my boat friends, I will see you soon.